This is Salam Radio.
أعوذ بالله من
Assalamu alaikum, dear listeners. Welcome to Salam Radio, the voice of knowledge and inspiration. I'm your host, Mehtab.
Wa alaikum salam, everyone. And I'm Shamir. We're thrilled to have you join us today for a brand new episode of Education Matters.
Andy, that is absolutely right, Shamir. Education Matters is your go-to destination for all things education but holidays. Whether you're a student, a teacher, or a parent, or just someone who is passionate about the power of learning, this is the show for you.
Absolutely, Mehtab. Each week we'll dive deep into the world of education, exploring the latest trends, innovations and challenges in the field. We'll also bring you inspiring stories, expert interviews and practical tips to help you navigate the educational landscape.
Perfect. I mean, the best part is we are not here to lecture you. We are here to have a meaningful conversation and engage with you, our wonderful listener. So if you have any questions, thoughts or ideas about education, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can call us into the show on 01733 602 133, or you can text us in on 074 1119 1062. We are live. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch. You can always leave comments on our social media streams that we will welcome into our show. And even if you are listening to our show after that it has been aired, please do still leave a comment. We'll definitely look into getting that added onto our following show.
So grab your favorite cup of tea, settle in, and let's embark on this educational journey together. Education Matters starts now.
Education does matter, my brother. We have an exciting
Lineup for you today is Mehtab and Shamir.
It is indeed. But what we are discussing today, it's about UCAS. This is going out to all of you students who are doing sixth form at the moment, and inshallah looking to go to university in September. And also, you know, to those who will inshallah be looking to go to university in the near future, maybe in a year or two, and need to know how it works, and need to know, you know, as much about it as they can, so they are fully prepared. So UCAS is what we will be discussing. Before we go on to the topic, we haven't come up with a name for this segment just yet. We want our listeners to name our segment of question time. We don't want to just call it question time. It just sounds not fun, does it?
I think it's one way of getting. It's one way of getting the listeners involved. So
definitely. If you like,
we'll wait until the best
name come. A couple name come through, but mention, we want more. We want the best name. The riddle or the question. You know, as you know, the easy challenge is you just got to beat Shimmy. That is it. And
that's beginner level.
All of our listeners, alhamdulillah, managed, including our 9-year-old participant as well. So yeah, we just got to beat Shimmy. Right. Are we ready?
We are ready. Do you know, just before you start, your riddle actually started trending in my school. And when I went back on Thursday and...
Don't tell me you forgot.
No. I was prepared for it then. I had the whole 24 hours to learn it. But when I went back, it was interesting because some of the listeners, especially the school kids, they were buzzing with that riddle. And a few of them still didn't get the answer by Thursday morning. So I tried it again.
Yeah.
Obviously with the benefit of hindsight. And then I tried to make myself look a little bit smart there with the riddle. So I might recycle this one again. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Inshallah. I mean, this is very tricky. So, question time at Salam Radio with Education Matters. If it took 8 people 10 hours to build a barn, how long would it take 14 people to build the same barn? If it took 8 people 10 hours to build a barn, how long would it take 14 people to build the same barn? That is our question of the day from our question time segment. Let us know. Get your thoughts in. As you can see live, Shimmy is Googling the answer again.
It's a calculator.
Look, no
I've got no
Googling
data
the
left.
answer.
I've got no data. They don't give me the Wi-Fi password here.
Right, so
It's a calculator.
without using Google, yeah, you can use a calculator, but as a maths teacher, it's a bit embarrassing. But
Listen. I'm trying to.
Linda, listen,
you know what?
Listen, Linda.
Look. Okay, so basically, last week, you bamboozled me with the question, and it was outside the box. So not my strength. This week it was.
This is inside the box. Inside the box. No, box.
Because it's one of those proportion questions. So I got my calculator out straight away.
You got the topic right, yeah.
And especially when you're egging people on to beat me, if that's a beginner's challenge, I have to make it a bit more challenging for them. So yeah, I think by the end of this show, I should have an answer for you, mate.
Right. Inshallah. See how we get on. Let's see how we get on. We'll just repeat that one more time for you guys.
I think Serena's trying to. What was that, Serena? Because this guy doesn't let me answer it.
All right. So if it took 8 people 10 hours to build a barn, how long would it take 14 people to build the same barn? Let us know what you think and get your answers in. We have to have a winner again today, like last week. So moving on, Mr. Hussein, that's it. Your research needs to be done later now.
Okay.
We calculators is still out, trying to work it out. So UCAS, we're aware, obviously, with the UCAS, there are, option. I mean, if you just explain in terms, obviously, when you're finishing school, right, and you've done your A levels or you've gone to college and you've done level 1, level 2, and then there are some courses where you do level 3.
Yeah.
And then to get into university or, some apprenticeships as well, you go through what we call UCAS. UCAS, there is plenty of information available for you. It will take your information. While we were in school and even now at the moment, you are expected to, draw up some personal statement to talk about why they should choose you, your passion about the course that you want to do. Because you can imagine there's thousands and thousands of people who might want to go and teach maths. But why should they pick you? Why should that university pick you? So they want to know, why did you pick them? And there's an element of references as well, which are, given by the teachers, which I believe will not happen anymore. And then there's also, the apprenticeship could be applied there. You can obviously look into doing the gap year. You should be using the league tables in order to decide what university. We will go through some of the most common questions that we've been asked by our students, our listeners throughout the week. So we'll touch upon, choosing your GCSE subject. So this is going out to the people. This is going out to students who are currently choosing their subjects for GCSEs. How you can be using the league tables. How you can be making the most out of, as you know, not everyone gets to, I'm talking about clearing at the minute, right? Actually, I'll cover it as a whole. We'll start off that as a segment before we go any further. And we'll touch upon, finding your passion, yeah, and whether or not university is worth it for you, So quite a lot to talk about. So let's begin. I want to understand clearing, all right? For some reason, people think clearing, is seen as a negative.
I think that comes from the word. It's almost like, oh, this is a clearing style. Do you know what I mean? But clearing, I think it's a very important process for a lot of students who have missed out maybe by a grade. They might have missed out by a late application. There's so many other factors that might have caused them to go through the clearing line. But I think it's a really important process. It shouldn't be overlooked. And I think like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of research out there that needs to be done in order for you to make the right decisions at every stage, including clearing.
Excellent. I'd like to just share my personal story. I went through clearing, and it wasn't because I didn't get the grades. It's because...
Was it because you were too smart?
Alhamdulillah, I basically got 20 more UCAS points than I was expecting to from my grades. So then, we sat down, and then, advice was given to me from my family, right? Why are you going all the way to Leeds Met when you've done quite well, and why don't you just ring up the university, see if they will take you on?
Okay.
With the grades that you have. And I rang them, they said, yeah, come on board. So clearing, it's not, okay, sorry you didn't do well, okay, here's a badge for taking, but it's not.
You got to remember, like, every uni participates in clearing. So, for example, you went to Leeds Met, yeah?
I was going to go to Leeds Met.
Which one did you end up going to? De Montfort, okay.
Yeah.
So, you got to remember, there's thousands of students every year who applied for De Montfort as their first choice. So, you've got to understand, every uni has a clearing process. So, I think more of it depends on the subject itself.
Yeah.
And obviously your personal circumstances.
Definitely. So, it's all about, doing your research and seeing what's the choice for you. And hopefully today we'll be able to guide you through that. Right, so, I'm sure in your house or your parents' house, you must have a frame up with you and the hat and the gown holding the degree.
Right, my mom's got one picture.
One picture?
In a bedroom of myself, my dad, and my mum, and then my brothers as well. So I'm trying to still find my copy so I can put it on my own wall.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it is framed. It is
I'm not
somewhere there.
One of my ex-student, he should be applying for universities now, or should be, most way through now. I said to him, he goes, he wants to go uni, don't care what he studies.
Don't care what he studies.
Mm-hmm. And he wasn't going there, it wasn't because of like freedom or independency or party, as other labels are used. He said, I just want to come home, give my mum the degree so she can put it up on the wall.
MashaAllah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, that's the motivation.
I mean, it's a motivation, but
he needs to still...
Is that why we should go to university? I think my question is, in terms of the segment that, we prepared was, is university worth it? Are our Muslim Pakistani students going so that they could say, "Mara munda bhi degree in the
And when they get asked the question, what's the degree in?
I mean, the conversation don't.
Oh, does that?
It don't go that far.
The conversation doesn't go that far. Okay.
So my question to you, if you can elaborate on, is university worth it?
Well, first of all, I think you've got. Yeah, so is university worth it? So basically, you've got a lot of, like we've mentioned earlier, you've got a lot of factors to think about here. First of all, you've got to make it revolve around you, like as in who you are as a person. You might be successful in a university, but at the same time, you may never have known. You could have been more successful maybe if you started your own business or something. That could have been an avenue as well, but you might never find out because, as you mentioned, sometimes we've got other factors and other pressures that all we do know is just get to uni. And sometimes, I mean, in that situation, what's the difference with that student maybe getting a job in the uni? Does that mean he still went uni?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? It's like you've got to make sure you're making the right choices. Maybe you've already got big ideas about the future. Maybe you're still figuring things out. One thing's obviously for certain is that you have got a lot of options after leaving school. So, for example, going to a uni, a college, it all sounds good, but if it's not for you, you might be better suited to apprenticeships. You might be better suited to working life. So you could start your career a little bit earlier. You could catch up maybe later on and then develop even quicker than a graduate maybe. Is it worth it for me? Was it worth it? 100%. So my personal circumstances, I think I suited the academic life a lot more than the practical life. So for me to get an honour in my academic studies versus an honour in practical subjects, for me it was definitely better.
So are we right to say that it's worth it for some people, but it's not everyone's cup of tea?
Yeah, and I think we also need to acknowledge the fact this might be a whole different debate. Is a degree the same value today as it was 20 years ago? Because nowadays, especially with the Open University, every next candidate for any job seems to have a degree. So it's becoming the norm. It's almost becoming how we were expecting everyone to have GCSEs 20 years ago, and a degree was seen as like the pinnacle, and this really stands you out from the crowd. Nowadays, you've got to ask yourself another question: is a degree still as valuable as it was once upon a time?
Interesting.
So again, like I said, that will open up a whole different kind of worms. But right now, does university still matter? There's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons. But again, you need to relate it to yourself as an individual, and you really need to draw up that plan.
I definitely agree. I think if you are not going to use the degree to any benefit, I mean, I still remember when I finished university, a lot of people apply for loads of jobs and they just wait around to make sure they go for the right job, right? And they wouldn't work for X amount of time till they get the right job. I was one of those where I didn't want to sit around doing nothing. I just felt like, I got to take on some responsibility and help out wherever I can. So I got whatever job there was.
Like a gap filler.
Gap filler, yeah. And then in that gap filler, believe it or not, I used to go there every day and think, okay, I spent 3 years and obviously 5 years in school and this year and this. I need to do something that relates to my degree. And funny enough, I was surrounded by people who were there were people who done masters and they were sitting on the same row as me, right? So, and I think we had especially when the fees were, a third of the price, £3,000, and there was a big push from the government to get everyone into degrees, into universities, and that created a lot of people who then had a degree. So increased the number of people who were now graduates. And the more people that you are graduate, the less the value is.
Yeah, of course.
But
it's got a knock-on effect, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's not to take away the actual knowledge and this understanding that university, because it's not easy, having to become independent at the same time, and in a city that you don't even know where things are, and then to be surrounded by people that you don't even know. So there's a lot going on, I think, and that experience should never be undervalued. Should never ever be undervalued or respected less because there's more of them. And then obviously, I kept question. I need to find a career that uses my degree.
Yeah.
So then I got into a job which was kind of working towards that, into a graduate scheme and so on. But at the point where it was like, okay, I'm not doing much that I can do more with my degree. That's when I went into education, into teaching.
And obviously with teaching, you can't.
I needed my degree.
You need that degree, don't you? To get in.
Of course. So I think, is it worth it for you? Is something that you have to, is something that I think only you can answer that. And don't answer it just to please others. Answer it, make sure it's the right thing for you. The only way that you can also answer is by having the right information. To speak to the right people, then it's you that makes that decision, rather than, have all the knowledge you need and then make that decision. A lot of people, talk about gap year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, a lot of people want to think about taking a gap year to find your passion. Okay? So in terms of finding your passion, what is that? Like how can we tell our listeners? I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people out there who don't know how to find it. I mean, I was just a couple of days ago in a session where I asked the student, what is it that you want to do? I don't know. What is it that you like doing? I don't know. They don't know. They don't know what they like. And that's quite hard to hear, I think, at this age.
But do you think it's because they've always been in a group since primary school?
Following the crowd?
Yeah, they've always been in a classroom setting, haven't they? So they've always been in a group since, that's all they know, since primary school. And then they're, sometimes as a group, their interests tend to, or they seem like they're aligning with each other, but they forget there's 30 different individuals in that one class.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when you ask one of them, okay, what's your hobbies and interests, they'll wait for someone else to answer, and then they'll
be like, yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I like that too, and then or it'll be something similar to that. So if I said football, the other person will probably say cricket. But they can't seem to think for themselves. But like you said, the experience comes, or the independent experience comes once you're out there in the field. In terms of like what you said, finding your passion. Well, here's a secret: finding your passion isn't about looking. It's about doing and discovering. Let's think about what passion is and how we find that passion. So,
I mean, when you say, I like when you say it's not about looking, it's right, isn't it? Because
yeah, of course. Yeah,
if I see someone else, he's doing, he's taking a gap year and he's traveling the world.
Yeah,
I think I want to do that too. But then, how do you know you're going to like it? Do you see what I mean? So
it's almost like a last minute. It's almost like a last minute decision.
Yeah.
Well, what I think it's a feeling. Think of it as a drive fueling you to do something. It's what pushes you to keep going.
What wakes you up.
Absolutely. You might already have one. Stringing words together for your school yearbook, snapping pics your friends, for example, their outfits, or you're always reminding your family to say no to plastic bags and straws. You'll have passion in something.
But you don't know.
This is what I mean.
Yeah, so it's something that you enjoy.
You won't notice
you don't
it,
know.
but you might be banging on about it without realizing. But everyone else seems to see it.
And then when they say to you, "Oh my God," like when they, I don't know, when you see someone who's like good with things and they're like, you know what? Actually, I had someone today, year 7. I was getting him to model the coordinates that we were doing. Yeah. And the student, and he's like, "So do you think I'll be a good teacher?" I go, "You're amazing." Right? That in a way is kind of discovery. And he loved it. He enjoyed what he was doing, right? So it was him trying to discover what he enjoys. And then at that moment, he realized, you know what, this might be my passion. So I think you're absolutely right. It is about discovering, trying out things and saying other people might see you and you're like, you know what, you're really good at this. You should do this as a career. And you're like, oh, no, yeah, yes. So, yeah.
I mean, just to finish off, just to give our listeners a little bit of an idea. So what does passion look like? You can't obviously see passion, but I think you definitely can feel it. You can see its effects. For example, that person with more energy than anyone else in the room. That's what I think I'd call passion. The rain or shine drive to wake up every day to just do it. That's, again, what I would call passion. And I think I heard this quote once: do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better.
I definitely agree.
I saw it on your, on your office wall, that one.
I think last night. I just need to trademark that, protect it as much as I can. Right, answers are coming in from our listeners. Thank you very much for getting involved with our riddle of the day. Just to remind you, if it took 8 people 10 hours to build a barn, how long would it take 14 people to build the same barn? Let us know what you think, and let us know. Give us a name for our segment. For question time, let's call it something different. Let us know what you think, guys. You can always give us a call or message on our social media. At the moment, you'll be listening to Mehtab and Shamir, and we're discussing UCAS in our program Education Matters. And we will shortly go on to a break. And after the break, there's a couple more things about UCAS that you need to be aware in terms of the application, in terms of choosing your subjects. So we'll be informing you more about that shortly after the break. And we'll definitely go into about using the league table, which everyone goes on about. We'll see you soon after the break. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
Worried your tenants could stop paying their rent during this cost of living crisis? Next Move Estate and Letting Agents are offering landlords 12 months rent in advance. You'll get your rent paid for the whole year in advance. No strings attached. Too good to be true? It really is that simple. So get in touch with us today for this extremely limited offer. Call Next Move now on 01733 641 642 to find out how we can help.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
Peterborough. Who said good quality fried and grilled chicken has to be expensive? At Sam's, we take pride in every piece of chicken that leaves our kitchen. Just one bite of our chicken or burgers is all it takes to realise we are the best. Visit us at our brand new place at 333 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PF. Or order a delivery through Just Eat, Uber or Deliveroo. Sam's, the home of great tasting chicken for over 30 years.
Are you a savvy shopper searching for the best food deals? Look no further. Adams Cash and Carry can help you save big. We're not just a food wholesaler for takeaways and restaurants. We also welcome household customers at our warehouse in Westwood, Peterborough. Visit our website and enjoy wholesale prices on everything from drinks to flour, rice to burgers and much more. To shop, go online and collect in store. Visit adamscashandcarry.co.uk today to start your savings spree.
It's time to protect yourself against COVID-19 and flu. If you or a family member are eligible for a vaccine this winter, then you can book an appointment or find a walk-in clinic online. Just search for COVID and flu vaccines Peterborough. Even if you've had a COVID-19 or flu vaccine previously, whether it was just once or more often, it's still important to get and remain protected. So to find out more, simply search online for COVID and flu vaccines Peterborough.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Salam Radio. You are listening to your host Mehtab and Shamir on Education Matters, and today we have been discussing UCAS, and we have a couple more segments to include into our show today. We also have question time really going on, and I was offered express burger with doner, everything on
during
everything,
the break,
Rubik mango during the break by my brother Shamir here. If I gave him the answer, and you'll be happy and glad to know your honest brother here did not give him the answer. Did not give him the answer at all. So if any of you would like to compensate that cheeseburger, that would be amazing. Right, do give us a call on 01733 602 133, or you can text us on 07411 191062. We are also streaming on Facebook, YouTube, X and Twitch. You can always leave a comment on there and get involved in our discussion. If you've got a child who's going into uni or waiting for a place from university and have completed the UCAS process, let us know what you think. What was your view on it? How did you find it as a parent? Do please share us what you think. Our riddle, if question time of the day was, if it took 8 people 10 hours to build a barn, how long would it take 14 people to build the same barn? Okay. You know, any of you out there, you are still beating our...
I think I got it.
You gotta wait.
No, listen.
No. Can you secretly tell me?
I got it.
And then I'll let you know if you got it or not.
Yes,
yeah? All
yes, I got it. Thank you for saying it in that way. You changed your tone there a bit, and it gave me the answer.
I don't know. If you get it, I want my cheeseburger. Right, so please get in touch. Let us know if you have got it before him. Right, so we have answer.
That same your cheeseburger chips? I think I'll have a cheeseburger chips tonight.
I'm not looking at it, so I don't know. So we talked about university. Is it worth it? We talked about the importance and the reason why people go to university, especially in our community. Talked about you know, finding your passion. We talked about clearing, how, you know, sometimes it could be looked at something, you know, I went through clear, you know, yeah, we talked about that. Right, so let's start talking about picking your degree. How do I pick what I want to study at university? We're hoping students at this age, in this year, know what to pick when they are, you know, filling the applications. But picking your degree, joint honours, what subjects to pick. You want to do, you know, a combined subject as such. Picking your degree is, you know, something that you need to make sure it's the right degree. It's not something that everyone thinks is popular. So yeah, Shamir is just gonna elaborate more on that and tell us, you know, how do we decide what degrees to pick when we are making the application through UCAS. So, Shamir, picking your degree, please. Yeah. So, in terms of picking your degree, how can you give some hints and tips and some steps for our students who can make the right choice or the best choice?
I'll try my best here. Obviously, it's it's like taking a needle out of a haystack. It's a massive area, but the best degree is the one that lets you shine. It's not what others say is the most popular, the easiest to pass, or has the fanciest title. I think it's a degree that fits what you want, what you need, and everything in between. It may not be the perfect degree, but with the right info, you just may choose something pretty close to that.
So when you say about, you just mentioned about the easy to pass.
Yes.
Obviously, me and you have been to universities. In terms of, can you just elaborate people about how you are assessed in terms of dissertations? Because sometimes I chose a course or module because it didn't have any dissertations, any essays.
Yeah, I think you look for you will always look for things that suit you. Some
Yeah.
people are better at exams than dissertations or essays, so they will try to look for, or I'm sure they will look for that page where it highlights how much percent of this module or course is going to be exam based or
Yeah.
written.
On the complete university guide, or even any university, you go to their website, look at the course,
Yeah,
and under where they are assessed, it will tell you very, very clearly in terms of what modules you are doing, how you will be assessed, whether you have to sit a test at the end of the year, throughout the year, whether you have to do an essay, a dissertation. And dissertation, just to let people know, you're looking at, what is it, 10,000 words? 10,000 words,
yeah, sometimes more.
easy. That would be considered as the smaller of the two. Yeah, so make sure, so what you're saying is, make sure you know where your expertise lie, what you are good at when you're making that choice. Don't choose something, that's others are saying easy. You may not be good at that. You may not be good at sitting test, and your course might involve all to do with test. Please, yeah, continue.
Yeah, so you've again, I just want to go over what you just said. It's got to be all round. It's got balance basically. It's got to have your positives, and with any degree, you're always going to have aspects of it which might seem frustrating, but as long as it's to do with your passion and your interests, I think you should have a very good chance of picking the right degree.
And how is it that our students can make that decision?
So this will be based on their experiences throughout school. What were their interests? What clubs did they like going to? I know there's a lot of clubs in school. Was it engineering? Was it sciencey? Was it art? Obviously us guys, we're obviously into our numbers. First, find out what area of life you guys have got a passion and you want to go into and you want to learn more about. Because remember, it's all degrees. It's all about knowledge. You want to enhance your knowledge in a particular area. Which area do you have a passion for? First of all, that you are curious enough to learn and be willing to learn a lot more about.
I think when I was thinking of going into accounting and finance, then I did do you remember year 10 work experience? I think year 10 I'm shortly going to go on work experience, and we actually got one of the show to talk about work experience as well.
Yeah.
When I went to my work experience, I was like, I can't do accounting, it's too boring. No disrespect to accountancy, we were doing big shouts out to someone from last week.
I spoke to an accountant today and he said it was so fun.
It is. I mean, like I said, it's different for everyone, and it wasn't for me. So what I did was, I thought, okay, I like numbers, but I don't want to just stick to just accounting and finance. And you will be able to know what I'm talking about in terms of the course that we choose. So what I decided instead was business management and finance. What that did was, that put me on a playing field where if I wanted to go into accounting and finance because of whatever reason, I still can. I'm still connected with the numbers. Right.
But then you're flexible, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's more flexible for me, and that is an option that is always available for you guys. You can make it flexible. You can, as long as you got like a generic sort of an idea, right? Are you into your sciences? Are you into your drama? Are you into your English writing? Are you into your numbers? Are you into your physics engineering stuff? Right? You will then know what routes to take. And there are plenty, and even the university, the complete university guide, they give you sort of jobs that it would lead to. I was just going to say, if you're not sure, like just say, no idea. Go online, find a job that you think you would like. Look for a job posting for that, and look at their requirement. Take it from there, right? If they say you need to be graduate in X, or even like a graduate scheme, you need to have done this at university. Then go to university website, find that course or something close by it, look at their requirement, and then take it from there. Okay, so now in terms of what we are discussing, the 3 steps. So, the steps that you mentioned in terms of being successful in choosing how to decide, basically. Right.
I've got another point which has just come to my mind. Going slow. Yeah, it took a while, right? So
you were busy building the barn.
I was trying to do a puzzle, right? So basically, it just reminded me. So we're going slightly off a bit of our research that we did earlier about this segment. Basically, a few years ago, I think this was earlier on in my teaching career. So while working in a local secondary school, I had a group. It wasn't maths, so they gave me. So you know where schools give you another lesson because you're like 1 hour under your timetable, and this was a PD lesson I ended up with. So like 99% maths timetable, and then 1 lesson every week. I had to do PD with a group of year 11s, and they were at the stage of deciding exactly what we're talking about today. They were in that stage where they had to decide what's their next steps going to be after leaving secondary school. Some of them obviously knew they were going to go into sixth form. Some of them had no idea. Some of them knew what their interests were, but they could never relate to it. So they would always ask me, okay, sir, what should I do? What should I do? And I would always say to them, look, exactly the same thing what we're discussing now. What are your interests and everything? And they're like, okay, it's very generic. It's in the lines of what the mates were saying. Until one of them turned around and he said, oh yeah, I like construction. But I don't know anything about it. I don't know how to get into it. To be honest with you, I didn't either. So obviously that's not my background or anything. But on the spot, while we were looking for ideas online, so this is where, when you were talking earlier, what came to my mind. We use the social media, we follow so many accounts, so many people, so many influencers online, and it's become a norm. Now, with this one group, we come across this, again, I just put in YouTube, construction, a day in the life of a construction worker.
Yeah.
That's literally it. And then
TikTok
we came across a page, and some of the listeners might be aware of this one as well. Asheville Weekly, or I think a daily.
Asheville Vlogs.
Something like that. Asheville Weekly, I think it was called. Or, I'm pretty sure it's weekly.
I know what you're on about, yeah.
So it's about this...
guy who got like a logistic /
Yeah, he's doing the whole... from top to bottom. He's running the whole show. But...
We should start vlogging, by the way.
It was a very good watch. So we started watching it in our PD lessons over like 3 to 6 weeks. That's how easy the PD teacher was. So we start watching this show, Asheville Weekly, and even when I was watching it, even though we just come across it by chance, even when we were watching it, I learned so much about construction. But this guy made it really entertaining, and he made it an easy watch, where to the point where the kids, after 3 weeks, I promise you, they learned so much more out of this guy's vlogging, because it was literally his day. It's about his whole week in an hour. So they saw it from top to bottom, getting out of bed, how late he was getting back home, what he was doing during the day, how many people he was liaising with, all the communication, every aspect of a top-end construction worker.
And it's all about just using your...
But this is it. Like, everyone's following somebody. Like, go find
use the
an
resources
influencer.
that you already have.
Use the platforms that you've got already, but find it in a way where you're going to learn so much more than... Clearly, obviously, me trying to teach you PD was going to get you anywhere in those 6 weeks. I don't know. But there's a lot of research out there. There's a lot of videos and tools which I think you guys can explore.
Definitely. Thank you very much for that. Right. We have just about 10 more minutes. And obviously, we've got a few other things to pick up as well. I just want to say thank you. Big shout out to Mr. Abid Hussain. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. And big shout out to Night Bite as well. You know, the right place to eat. We got Asad. Thank you very much for your response. I'll let you know what the answers are. You definitely beat our competitor Shamir. I just want to talk about we're gonna go into just talking about the league table. Okay. Now, the league table, obviously, as you know, there are many companies that organize the league table, and it shows in the UK, how our uni is doing in compared to each other. Okay, so how one university is doing compared to others, and there are many different organizations that rank the universities, and they do like an annual league table. You got the complete university guide, which I like a lot. The Times, there's a QS, the Guardian. There's many more. Many people do it. Now the problem is, the thing is, these university guide or whichever league table that you are using, they take a lot of things into account to decide how to rank university. Do you talk about the great teachers and professors, the research facilities, the actual modern equipment that's available in that. So just to give you an example, like Guardian, they will focus on the teaching and the job opportunities after you graduate, right? The Times, they look at more about the facts and the numbers and less at the student experience. The complete university guide puts an emphasis on the research. A lot of universities do a lot of research that benefits the whole world out there.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So it's about what's important for you. When you go for your year 12, I think they go for the open day to universities.
Yes.
Right? I'll be honest with you, when we went to ours, right, it was around the time of the year where no students were there. I don't know if that was purposely done or not. I didn't know university students were there. So I was walking around thinking, I come in here, there's no one here.
It's giving you the wrong message.
Message, yeah. So why don't you drive up one evening, or even obviously if you can get half a day from school, a lot of students also get like a study leave, drive up with your parents, right, and then just go to the campus, walk around, look at it.
Yeah, you're free to walk around in public
De
places.
Montfort. I don't know if you've been to Leicester recently. Since I've been there, now it has, oh my God, just walking down the main lane of where the student union, the library, where every student has to go past every day. Just walking through it, the Patel building, yeah? And so many of the new buildings, you're just walking through it, it's so amazing, thinking, oh my God, I'd love to move down here, live here, right? Because that is where you're going to be walking every day. You want to be able to enjoy that. So if it's not with the school, go with your parents, go there, look how you feel. Okay? Are you okay that it's too far from your parents? Are you okay that it's too far from your family home? Are you thinking of coming back every week? Right? These things you can decide on how to pick the universities. And I think this is my opinion of how to then choose. So you decided which league table to use.
Yeah. Now,
which university to choose from that league table? What I would do, what I did, look at your top 20 universities rank. Just top 20 without any emphasis on as an overall general ranking. From those universities, then what you do is from there, pick out some that you really like, right? Or if you can't pick up anything, that's fine. You got those top 20 universities, then what you do is rank them based on your subject. Because you got to understand, De Montfort is good with numbers, but it may not be the top university. It's good with like business studies, finance and stuff. But it's not your top university for, medicines, pharmacy, yeah? So then rank it based on the subject that you're going into, right? It is still top 20, yeah? And then obviously rank it based on obviously how far you're willing to travel, the experience and this. So what you got to do, get your factors.
You can filter it, can't you? I'm sure.
Yeah, so you get your factors.
Yeah.
And the universities that are appearing in all of your ticks, all of your boxes, right? You can also filter them based on jobs opportunities, yeah? How many students from that university that year got a job within 6 months or a year? And then if there's probably 5 universities, 10 universities that tick off all of your factors, right? Then go find that course, look at that requirement, which one of those you can meet, and then from there you can put down your choices, right? It is important that you take your time and do this research. Otherwise, you're making a decision without any information. You're going into it blindly. I'm not going to say it's not going to work out for you, but there's more of a chance that it's not than it is, because you don't, you're not aware of what it is, what's what to expect. So that is obviously how league tables are used, and there are different kind of categories that it can be based on. Right. So I just want to find some UCASs are, all UCASs are done by now, but some of them got their choices back, decisions back. But there were some, that are done early of the year, especially if you're going into medicines, and there's interviews process. If we spend a couple of minutes just to discuss about interviews that you may have at your university or your future university.
I think we just found out this morning actually, with our post 16, there's been 120 university applications submitted this week. So big number, and again improving year on year. So that's just one school. That's just one school. So the competition obviously is quite rife.
Yeah. So in terms of obviously, all of these competitions going in for the same course, and they have to sit an interview. They have to pass through an interview. So what would they do in order to, what tips and hints can we give them for the interviews? Just to let you people know, if you landed yourself with the first interview, that means things are going your way. Okay, they are going your way, and someone has realized you're the right person. However, there's many other things that you have to go through in order to finally, get into it. So, in terms of that, Shamir, what do you?
Well, yeah, that's the, I think, seen as one of the hardest things, isn't it? Getting selected for an interview, and then the real work begins. I think that's when you start the wheels get into motion. For example, your foot's already through the door, and then your feelings obviously a bit anxious sometimes, or you might be really confident in yourself. The next step, obviously, I think, is to prepare for it. So start by knowing your unique strengths, which definitely have to be specific to the subject that you've applied for. Then find out a bit more about the questions you can expect them to answer you. You'll get a bit more information from the university's website, I think directly, or their prospectus, because you start to get a feel of the theme.
What the university is about,
their expectations, their standards, their beliefs, their motto, for example, what they stand for. The questions, I'm sure, will be around those. And let's be honest, every interviewer has the same goal. So they need to find that right person for a specific role. That means that every question they ask you is going to be focused around working out if you are that person.
So it's all about telling them the real you.
Yeah, you got to fit in with their program. You have to fit in with their program. Remember, they're offering you a life-changing opportunity. So they've got every right to, which is at the same time, if you weren't the right candidate for them, they've just missed out on the right candidate because you've now walked through the door. So they've got every right to ask you questions. They've got every right to find out as much as they can in that short space of time.
You applied to them.
Yeah, you applied for them, and at the same time, they're obviously giving you the opportunity. But sorry, yeah.
I was just going to share some of the questions, in terms of what did you learn in school? How has that shaped what you want to do at university or at work? What have you done to make your dreams a reality? Was there a turning point that made you realize your passion, what you were saying about earlier, for this subject? So at what point did you decide, I'm going into this? These are the questions that possibly could be asked, and then you need to make sure that you are answering those with confidence. Practice them at home with your family. Practice them, so see, whether your parents will take you on into their university before we get onto the real.
And I think just one key point for myself, right at the end. I know we're right at the end. Okay, so one very quick one. They've already seen your CV. They've already seen your application and your personal letter.
Yeah.
So try not to repeat that. They don't want to
Tell them, give them
Yeah.
something you haven't told them yet.
Most likely they read it just before the interview anyway,
Yeah.
so they don't want to go into the interview and just have an audio tape of what you just written.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, very, very valid point. Right. Thank you for listening. I've been Mehtab and we had Shamir here on Education Matters discussing UCAS. At the start of the show, we had a question. If it took 8 people 10 hours to build a barn, how long would it take 14 people to build the same barn? Shamir did eventually get it, so well done.
Not eventually, come on.
Eventually got it.
You said you were honest.
Even
man.
though, you tried very hard to research
I
and
thought you were
also
honest
ask
man.
me. But the answer, Shamir, is, can you just quickly tell us, quickly?
The answer is 0 because the barn was already built.
Well done, well done, Shamir. However, there were other people who got there before you, so well done to those. Thank you very much for listening in today. Inshallah, we're looking forward to next week with the new topic, Education Matters. Remember us in your du'as, and we'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.